All the talk of buying and selling houses today in this hour, I mean, people know right now. People are watching houses get listed. They're flying off the market. They are multiple offers. It is just hot. Not like it is on the rest in places on the rest of the country, but certainly here in Seattle it is. And well, Ryan Leopold's back with. Hey, Ryan.
Good to have you back, man.
It's good to it's good to be back.
Thanks for bringing the sun, by the way.
Yeah, well, I sent it via courier on the. Actually, I sent it on the American Airlines that we almost missed.
It's appreciated, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I heard you probably played some golf
every day.
Every day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Well, Ryan, let's just talk a little about we talked about people buying houses a lot and the potential for just trying to get one. Mm-hmm. When buyers communicate with their lenders communicate with their agents, it really does make just a better overall transaction. And you had actually talked about what buyers can do to improve their chances of getting a seller to accept their offer from the lender's standpoint. I don't think people think about that often.
Yeah, and I think it's something we used to do a lot back in 04, 05, and 06 when the market was a lot hotter. When we had multiple offers happen a lot, we would get a lot more involved in the transaction, like talking to the listing agents and writing letters and pictures and stuff like that, and really reaffirming the pre-approval. And what I'm seeing is it's starting to happen now. We've had multiple clients actually get offers accepted, and the offers were lower than other offers because of a really strong pre-approval letter, really strong cover letter. And then some people with the extra mile actually took pictures in front of the home before they made the offer to actually kind of improve that and get that emotional tie-in. So it's interesting.
Probably with a kid and a dog.
Everything helps. Everything helps.
So, just from the lender's perspective, where do you think people should expect their lender to fit in to making a stronger offer?
Well, I think when people are making offers, and I'm sure both agents or all three agents today are going to really affirm that the pre-approval part of it is such a strong piece that a seller wants to know that if this buyer's making an offer, can they really afford it? And are they going to be able to close? Nobody wants to go through the process and get 3 or 4 weeks into it and realize that really financing isn't there. So I think the strength of the lender they choose is actually probably more important today than it's been in a long time. And we're starting to really see it. Like I said, we had 2 offers that got accepted because of conversations we had with listing agents about how qualified the buyers really are. So I think it's a really good strategy today, I think.
Well, and lenders, a lot of lenders are so busy with refinances because they're so, the rates are so low. So it kind of is that extra mile, isn't it?
Well, I think it's not only are lenders really busy because of purchases are happening and they're busy because of refinances. I think during those times of busyness, I think some things kind of get lost, and I think some people take some shortcuts to make sure people really are approved and have all their ducks in a row when it comes to that initial offer. So when you can take that next step and actually have a meaningful conversation with a listing agent or a seller, then I think it's that added little benefit that buyers need in this market. And I think we've had a lot of success and proven that it does work once an agent and a lender and a buyer are working together to reach that mutual goal, which is helping buy that house they want.
And it even can come down to both agents. I mean, the selling agent and the buyer's agent, because, at that point in time, you have communication with both of them. As you said, both people are going to be more in tune. There's more, it's more cogs in the wheel moving in the right direction.
Well, and I think at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing. The buyers want to buy a house, the sellers want to sell a home, and both agents want to service their sellers and their buyers respectively to actually get a transaction from start to finish. Of course, everybody's looking to get the best terms and conditions for their clients, but I think, I think those stories kind of prove there is an emotional aspect to this where sellers, if presented the right way, I think they want their home that they lived in for 15 or 20 years to go to, a nice young couple who have a couple kids or looking to buy their first home. I think bringing that emotional aspect into it and having the lenders help with that, I think all those things help in this kind of market where you have low inventory and a lot of buyers out there.
The other side of that too is, you think about the emotions of the buyer, not just the seller, but the buyer who's trying to buy a house. If you actually, if they know they're pre-approved, it's done. Like, right, you've done the work up front, so they're going to be able to buy a house, especially if you're out looking for houses. You're 100% confident that money will be there when you need it. It also allows you to feel more comfortable in negotiating, I think, just for the real estate. We see it all the time.
Well, and I think, and I'd love to hear the guys' opinion on this too. As a seller or a listing agent, how really valid is a pre-approval letter anyways? I think it's all based on the merits of the person providing the letter. Because really, what is it? Pre-approval letter is just somebody who wrote a letter saying they're pre-approved for financing. So they could get it from any lender across the country, any online, anything. But so I think what we're seeing here is the validity of that pre-approval is carrying more weight. And I think that sellers seem to want that security of knowing that if we're going to sell our house to, this couple, that financing really going to be there. And it's that extra little push that we can all make a little bit extra effort to service both the buyer and the seller today. And it definitely helps.
Well, and you talk about it being able to be from anybody, but it also could be from any time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen people come back 6 months later, a year later, and they're saying, well, I'm still pre-approved, aren't I? And you sit there and you think, well, I don't know. It's been a year and I haven't talked to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you do to update them?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is reaffirming. We talked about this last week as well, is always reaffirming that pre-approval letter. Interest rates can change. They could change incomes or change jobs. You never know if something changes on their credit report, which we've seen happen in the past. I think reaffirming those pre-approval letters and really getting them up to date, especially if someone, like you said, was pre-approved 4 to 6 months ago, they weren't really that serious, but now they're coming into the market and getting a little more serious. I think, partners and buyers out there need to have a relationship with their lender and reaffirm that pre-approval letter if they're really getting serious about banking an offer, to assure that if they get under contract, that the thing's actually going to close, because there's so many things that change. All the way down to guidelines can just change. Lender guidelines are still changing all the time.
We lose lenders.
We lose lenders. We lose
just
programs.
lose it. They're just not going to do it anymore. And they don't care that you wrote a pre-approval letter.
Absolutely.
They don't. Big banks don't care that a lender wrote a pre-approval letter from their bank.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it. Doesn't mean anything.
Lenders go away all the time. Programs go away. Guidelines change. I think all those things can affect someone's ability to actually achieve their goal of, buying a home, and financing is a big part of it. So I think reaffirming that is a huge part of it. And just really, like we've talked about multiple times, is have a really great, strong relationship with your agent, with your lender, and with everybody involved in the transaction. Because again, talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in major life events. And it's just tougher right now, so I think you need that more than ever.
You talk about all the people. It's not just real estate agents. It's not just, lenders. It also, you talk about people who are going to help you close it, because it can be, we've all seen it can be a firestorm at the end of one of these deals. So making sure the escrow agents are on board, making sure that you have a reasonable timeline for your deal to get done.
What we talked about again last week as well is being engaged. I
wasn't here last week, Ryan.
So we're telling you everything that went on last week. Heather did an awesome job, like I said.
I know, I heard.
And we talked about a lot of being engaged, being an active participant as a buyer within the process. So if lenders or agent partners or title, escrow, appraisers, inspectors, everybody needs stuff to help you throughout the process, work with them, be engaged, really understand the why behind what they need stuff for, and help them get it in a timely fashion. Because it's really, at the end of the day, it's going to help a buyer get through the process. And what we all want at the end of the day is a smooth and uneventful transaction. But to be honest, lenders and everybody else need the help of their clients.
Well, Ryan, let's go to break real quick, and let's bring back Chase, Jeff, and Eric, and let's ask them a little bit about, what they see as far as the pre-approval letter, what people should expect, and the expectations, I think, of what's going on. We'll be right back after this break. Everybody's coming back. Ryan's going to stick around. You're listening to Brashenomics.